Every war ever fought over love, every heart ever broken or made whole, every moment of beauty that stopped you in your tracks, Aphrodite was there. Hello, my darling, and welcome to a video where I create a shrine to Aphrodite, the Greek goddess of love, beauty, desire, pleasure, and connection. While I craft this shrine, I want to share some of the myths and archetypes represented by this goddess. Let's do some magical crafting. As I'm crafting this shrine to Aphrodite, I'll be adding colors and symbols to represent her. For this shrine, I'm drawing the color palette directly from her birth story using soft ocean blues and seafoam greens that call to mind the waves she rose from, with clear faceted glass beads and glitter to add sparkle to the seafoam. Seashells are added into the inner scene. Behind the centerpiece statue is a painted scallop shell with pearls decorating it. The main statue shows Aphrodite in her classic graceful form, beautiful and poised, standing on a golden shell with a golden dove beside her, capturing the magnetic quality that made even the other gods pause in her presence. I'm adding coral pink and iridescent pink to the outside and golden doves, an animal sacred to the goddess. According to Hesiod, Aphrodite rose from the sea foam fully formed, born not of a mother, but of the ocean itself and the severed power of the sky. And from that first moment, she's governed every heart that has ever loved or longed. Aphrodite is one of the oldest and most universally recognized goddesses in the Greek world. Her birth story is one of the most striking in all of mythology. When the Titan Cronus overthrew his father Uranus, he cast the severed reproductive parts of Uranus into the sea. From the white foam that gathered around them, Aphrodite emerged fully formed and radiant and floated ashore on a scallop shell, first touching land at the island of Cyprus. This origin story sets her apart from some other Olympians who were born of parents. She arrived from the union of divine power and the primordial sea, making her something older and more elemental than most of her fellow gods. One of the most revealing myths about Aphrodite involves the judgment of Paris. At the wedding of Peleus and Thetis, Eris, the goddess of discord, threw a golden apple inscribed "For the fairest" into the gathering. 3 goddesses stepped forward to claim it: Hera, Athena, and Aphrodite. Zeus, wisely declining to judge amongst them, appointed the Trojan prince Paris to decide. Each goddess offered Paris a bribe. Hera promised him power and kingdoms. Athena offered him wisdom and undefeated skill in battle. Aphrodite offered him the love of the most beautiful mortal woman in the world, Helen of Sparta. Paris chose Aphrodite's gift, and what followed from that choice, the love between Paris and Helen, the war it ignited, the great city of Troy brought to ruin, reveals something important about how the Greeks understood Aphrodite's power. It's not a soft power. It does not sit quietly alongside ambition or strategy. It consumes and transforms everything it touches, and its consequences reach far beyond what anyone anticipates. This myth also shows Aphrodite's willingness to use her gifts directly. She did not offer something abstract. She offered connection, desire, and the one thing that no amount of power or wisdom can manufacture. That is her domain, and she understood it completely. Aphrodite's marriage to Hephaestus, the god of the forge, is one of the more complicated arrangements on Olympus. Hephaestus was brilliant, but considered unglamorous, and their pairing was seen by many as a mismatch. Aphrodite famously took Ares, the god of war, as her lover, and when Hephaestus discovered the affair, he crafted an invisible net of bronze and caught the two of them together, summoning the other gods to witness. But rather than humiliation, the scene produced more laughter than consequence, and Aphrodite simply continued on her own terms. This story is often read as a commentary on the futility of trying to constrain love. It moves where it will. Even a net built by the most skilled craftsman on Olympus cannot hold it for long. Her relationship with Ares produced several children, including Eros, the god of love, and Harmonia, the goddess of harmony. The myth of Psyche and Eros reveals another side of Aphrodite entirely. The earliest source for this myth is Apullus's novel, The Golden Ass. Psyche was a mortal woman, so beautiful that people began neglecting Aphrodite's temples to worship her instead. Aphrodite, feeling her worship being threatened, sent her son Eros to make Psyche fall in love with something unworthy. Instead, Eros fell in love with Psyche himself. When Aphrodite discovered her son's relationship with Psyche, she imposed a series of seemingly impossible tasks on the beautiful princess before she would allow the union to continue. Psyche completed every one of them and was allowed to become immortal, marry Eros, and bear him a daughter who became the goddess of pleasure. Aphrodite's role in this story shows her as a goddess who takes devotion seriously. The neglect of her worship was not a small thing in the ancient world. Sacred attention and reciprocal relationship mattered, and in the end, when Psyche proved herself through perseverance and courage, the marriage was blessed, and Psyche was made immortal. The symbols associated with Aphrodite reflect every dimension of her nature. The rose, especially the red rose, represents passionate love and desire, but also the beauty that can conceal thorns. The scallop shell marks her origins in the sea. Doves represent the gentler aspects of her nature, the affection, peace, and tenderness she can bring. Myrtles, apples, and sparrows were also sacred to her. Her famous girdle, the kestos himos, a magical, enchanted, embroidered band, as described in Homer's Iliad, was forged by Hephaestus. It was said to hold the power to make anyone who wore it irresistible and to inspire love in even the most indifferent heart. Her epithets reveal how widely her worshippers understood her reach. Aphrodite Urania, heavenly Aphrodite, governed sacred and spiritual love. Aphrodite Pandemos, of all the people, governed earthly and physical love. Aphrodite Pelagia was associated with the sea. Aphrodite Aria reflected her connection to Ares and her capacity for fierce, consuming passion. She was not a single thing, she was every form that love takes, from the most sacred to the most earthy. What I find so compelling about Aphrodite is that she refuses to be reduced to a simple idea of romance. She is connection itself in all of its beauty and its cost. She governs the love between people who are good for one another and the love that undoes empires. She represents the part of human experience that cannot be reasoned away, the longing, the beauty, the desire for closeness that drives so much of what we do. Working with her is an invitation to stop fighting those impulses and to understand them more deeply instead. For those drawn to work with Aphrodite today, she offers guidance in opening the heart, cultivating self-worth and outer radiance, deepening relationships, healing old wounds around love, and reconnecting with joy and pleasure as spiritual practices in their own right. Her energy supports anyone navigating the complexities of love, anyone working to feel more beautiful in their own skin, and anyone seeking to attract meaningful connection into their life. Appropriate offerings to Aphrodite might include roses, honey, sweet wine, seashells, rose quartz, or anything beautiful that you've made or chosen with care. You might light a rose or floral candle, write a love letter to yourself or to someone you cherish, or simply spend time in water honoring her origins and her domain. One of the most beautiful things Aphrodite offers us is this reminder that love is not a weakness. The world can make it feel that way sometimes, treating desire and beauty as distractions from more serious things. The capacity to love, to long for connection, to be genuinely moved by beauty, that's not something to manage or suppress. That is a sacred current running through all of us, and she is its keeper. Until next time, may your heart stay open to the beauty that surrounds you, and may love find you exactly where you are.